Welcome to a podcast capturing the antics of two geeks who talk about video game culture and influence, both old and new, all through chaotic banter and tangential tangents that make no sense. My name is Mask.
I'm on the run, no.
This is my pal Red.
The moment I get out of bed, I need a Shoryuken into my ceiling.
And together we make the Reddmasq Podcast.
This is episode 3.
For yo Joe Mama.
Josuke Yamama's Yosamama.
Jeez Louise.
Man, I would love to watch JoJo again at some point. JoJo is a comfort food for all of my, college expeditions. I watched part 3 when I was in, my first trip to, my first community college trip, so when I got my associate's degree. That will give you a range of time frames that I was waiting. And then Stone Ocean came around while I was going for my bachelor's. Literally 3 generations apart. But yeah, part 3 and part 4 were my jam in school. Part 5 was my jam while I was delivering food. And part 6 was my jam on my second trip back to school.
Impressive.
It is a tour de force, and it defines when in my life I am. Right now I am fucking old because part 6 is over, and I actually didn't read enough of part 7 to kind of glomp onto it. I get it.
See.
Fun, good old yippity-yi cowboy times. I mean, let me start off by talking about a game that kind of delves into that right now, because there's a nice little fan game project out on itch.io.
Oh yeah? What is it called?
Undertale Yellow. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah. I have seen it. I have heard of it. It's you play as the Yellow Heart.
Yep, you are the Yellow Heart, basically. The human with the yellow heart. So you're the cowboy in this very different land. And generally, I really like what I've seen of this game so far. I've only seen the intro area, and they flip it on the script on its head to just tell the story that they want to tell. So, I mean, Earthbound's Holiday Hack Pack years and years ago was one of Toby Fox's first projects, and I think we're just seeing more talent built off the shoulders of giants here when it comes to just community support and love for old games coming through and showing its face. I want to hear more of the music and see more of the characters in this game, so I'm definitely going to play this one if I have the time here.
Hell yeah.
If you need the link to the page, I think we'll provide that in the show notes. At least watch the trailer. They got the whole soundtrack up on Game Jolt as well.
Well, I saw the trailer. It was pretty dope. I don't think I heard it with sound. I just watched. Why not just have more content?
Yeah,
I'll just
more
take
content
more
is fun, yeah.
Forever and ever and ever.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be official. This is just something that was worked on for about 6 years after the original Undertale release. Let me read off the title card for it. When a child named Clover sets out on a mission, they find themselves deep within the underground. In this foreign land, monsters lurk around every corner. But are they friend or foe? In this full-length follow-up to the friendly RPG where nobody has to die, you decide how every encounter plays out, following the branching paths those decisions lead to. From unlikely allies to unlikely enemies, twists and turns will set Clover on a course towards an ultimate fate. There is a Kitsune mask in the credits section of this game, and I don't know the justification why, but it's cool.
Show me it.
I gave you the page. Look at the page. Look at the credits section.
Oh, in the credits section, I see.
Yeah. It is a little title card.
I'll look at the credits section. Where the fuck is it on this mess? How the hell do I navigate Game Jolt?
Carefully.
Where's the credits section?
Scroll down the page past the soundtrack, and then to the features and links and etc.
Release date announcement, details for game. Is that now? There's the game. Okay, game soundtrack. Is this the credits right here? Features.
It just says credits, and I mean you have
credits.
A good amount of people that worked on it. 1, 2, 3.
And then where's
Some
the
remixes.
mask we're looking at?
It's in the title card.
In the title card.
Credits. Banner 2.png.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize you worked on it.
No. I just think it's interesting. Kitsune masks are just kind of my thing. I don't know why. Just sort of landed. A lot of special thanks, though. They had a lot of people looking at this project, at least for testing and things. Also, a lot of unique artists. Love to see it.
Yee.
Will you make a game about the other heart? No, this game already drained out all of my life force. Maybe someone else will.
There's a lot. Yeah. And maybe someone else. I cannot do another one of these.
Windows may warn you that this game is suspicious, but is in fact quite suspicious. Not suspicious. Just like the first Undertale, so expect some shenanigans.
Expect some shenanigans. Expect me to accidentally. I don't know. I was immediately gonna make like a joke about like how the game will force close.
It might. Oh yeah, for that Zelda 2 Enhanced Edition. Oh, I didn't tell that about to you, but like I stumbled onto something that got reposted. The Enhanced Edition of Zelda 2 that Vinny played through about a year ago.
Yeah. He also used it for his randomizer run this year.
Oh, there's built-in randomizer with it. Yeah, that's a feature. It's really good.
Yeah.
Does it have Archipelago support, do you know?
Probably not.
Oh, you were going to talk about Archipelago, too.
Yeah, you're damn straight I am, because I just love fucking watching it. It's so good.
Yeah, tell me about
randomized.
that. I mean, I've done a couple of races with you, and I've done a couple of races with some other friends, and it's just wicked cool, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's real cool. The ones we've done have never finished because we've done 2. We both tried. I tried to get you to do Link to the Past the first time on I think it was my birthday.
Right.
You were not familiar as I was because you were
I wasn't familiar, but once I actually got to playing it, I was digging it.
Oh yeah, I literally hit BK mode and I started watching you. It was like, all right, here's how you handle this thing, and then we were done. We never finished. The second time you decided to go with Super Mario World, and you got Burger King mode immediately because you need climbing to take on the first castle.
I got that even in my run with my other friends where I had to do easy climb. Like free climb. Like I had a bug where like I wasn't actually getting my power-ups early on though. That was another thing. Like I didn't actually start SNI correctly. I had a brain fart on that. You got to make sure that you're doing the things in the right order to get the thing to launch.
Well, just to talk about what Archipelago Randomizer is. It's a multi-world randomizer, so it's basically you get multiple worlds or games. So like, say you want a seed of like 3 Link to the Past games, you can do that. 3 Super Mario World games, you could do that. You can also mix and match the games. So like you could have two Link to the Past games, a Super Mario World, and then another
playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there's several other supported games. Like there's Minecraft. There's Risk of Rain 2 of all things.
It is so weird. It's like just an odd assortment of games because like the framework for it is open source, and all you need are just pointers to where game triggers are in order to send those to friends to unlock things. Like it's not so hard to actually implement code-wise.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm burping. Yeah, like, but the whole point about a multi-world randomizer is how you have the multiple worlds are just like different games being played, and so usually by different people at the same time. So like if you look for it online and look for like a Link to the Past randomizer multi-world, you'll find like someone like Andy Lasso playing with some of his friends, and they're each playing their own game, their own seed, and sending items to and from each other whenever they run into it. Because like you can find. Basically, what it does is it takes all the items of all the games and throws them to anywhere in those those multiple worlds. So you can easily find like someone's important item that they'll then use to find your important item, and so on and so forth. And the BK mode that people talk about is Burger King mode because when you run out of checks, you don't have anything you can do. You have to wait.
And it's a time-honored tradition that like one streamer was just like, I'm gonna go to Burger King because I'm just tired of waiting for you.
I got more information from it. It was actually one of Andy's multi-worlds. It was not Andy himself. It was one of his friends. It was like, all right, I have nothing I can do. I'm going to Burger King. And then when he came back, he got a bunch of checks, but nothing that would let him continue his gameplay, so he just started eating. Yeah, that's why it's just called BK mode, because there's nothing you can do. Just go to Burger King or something, you know.
I'm familiar with the history of just randomizers from like Link to the Past being like the original one. I had friends in like 2018 who did that. But like it's really evolved into its own kind of thing now. I mean, prior to that, we had speedruns live for actual like speedrunning contests and things, and that didn't require any like internet connection to anybody to do. But like as time went on, if people wanted to do randomizers and compare things with like live trackers of things, people actually made tools to make that possible. It started as Berserker multi-world, apparently, and then became Archipelago that we have today.
Yeah, so there's multiple kinds of multi-world. For Link to the Past, there's like the main branch of just Link to the Past or Super or SMZ3, where it's like the Link to the Past Metro or Super Metroid combo rando. Those have like their own support for multi-world. But Archipelago started off as like another branch of the Link to the Past randomizer multi-world with its own features and stuff that weren't put in the main branch. And then it eventually evolved into the multiple games Archipelago, where you have multiple different games can connect to one another and send each other items. Even games where that's typically not something you deal with, like Super Mario World. Archipelago's Super Mario World randomizer basically means you don't have any. You start off with basically no abilities. You're not allowed to get power ups. You can't even run. So you're like stuck as Small Mario. You can't climb, and you need climbing to beat the first castle. You don't have any power ups, so you're always at risk. You can't run, so you're going real slow. But eventually, every time you clear a stage, you get a check, which is typically like, oh, maybe you'll get a 1-up or like some other trash, or you'll get a power up, so you can finally get mushrooms, and then eventually you'll get another one which lets you get flowers, so on and so forth. Or you'll just get an ability like climbing. Climbing is basically going to be someone's sphere 0, which means that the spheres of checks are just like I don't know how to properly explain that.
It's kind of a complicated matter. Let me just kind of break it down into simpler terms for our viewers. So, like, when you go ahead and make a race with your friend, you have to kind of make some rules up. So, you have a file that helps you do that. Some of the files, like rules, will have, like, oh, what is going to give you a clear for your friend? Oh, it's like clearing a world. Oh, it's like collecting all the dragon coins in Mario World. Oh, it's like you can actually check this button and you'll get climb faster than any other item in your inventory here. That sort of thing you have to kind of learn by playing it by ear or by being in like little Discord groups or communities online that regularly race, and they'll kind of tell you the best thing. I've gotten YAMLs for my friends for like Risk of Rain 2. It's like, oh, hey, this is the best settings. You should probably use these. Like, generally, quality of life in the game you want to have is the game you got to make. So it's a little bit of creativity, and your mileage may vary on how good the runs are going to go. But, like, the best idea is to just get out there and make something and try it. If it doesn't work, tweak the rules for next time. You generally just want to make something that's going to be fast-paced and entertaining for you and your friend when it comes to randomizers.
Yeah, I tend to just stick with Link to the Past because I watch a lot of it on YouTube, and I know enough to be able to do it. I sometimes watch my older brother play, and it's really fun.
Meanwhile, I look at my like old SRCom page and like all the games I used to run. I ran 30 fucking games. I'm not sorry. I just so happened that I just had a lot of stuff that I was knowledgeable in. So I'm just like, oh hey, I'm looking at these, I'm making up some rules. Oh, I can play about 5 of these games.
So I found a way to talk about the spheres of checks system. So sphere 0 is all the checks you can do right out the gate. So like sphere 0 means like the moment you start playing, you can get these checks and before you are required to have anything. So once you get through all of sphere 0, you technically get into sphere 1 and then spheres 2 and so on, which are basically just like once you have everything from the previous sphere, you move on to the next sphere. Which obviously this is logic. This is not how you're supposed to play the game. You don't need to go through all the checks you have first before moving on to the next sphere. You're just checking stuff. So typically people just say sphere 0 checks because it's like stuff you can do immediately and you should do immediately. At some point, like, sure, like, oh, I was supposed to get this item at this later sphere, which means I'm going to be out of checks for a while or whatever. But that's more advanced, like, oh, I understand how the logic works now.
You'll actually find some of the unlocks that you get will show up as different colors on them. Depending on the game, you'll have certain trackers that you can download that are separate, that'll keep track of what you got. And if an item is green, that means you have the possibility and items in order to unlock that. Some will show you where the key items are, which you're going to need to progress. Some don't. So you just kind of have to keep track of what you can unlock at the given time with what abilities that you do have.
Yeah, I know with Zelda's, with A Link to the Past tracker, it's like the different colors are like Or like you can see what it is, but you can't get it, which means that you can like if you can see what it is and see it's dog shit, you can just remove it and never worry about it again.
Right.
There's green, which is like you can get this item. It is available to you with no glitches required. I think yellow is you can get this item, but it requires a glitch. Orange is you can like it's like a dungeon and you can partially clear it, but you're kind of stuck otherwise.
The Mario World one where I was just trying to do the skip for one of the secret Star Worlds, just so I could actually get through that. Like the jump was insane. I had to look up like what one of my other friends years and years ago did to actually do that, and I couldn't do it because I didn't have the practice. So
You can just keep it like only go for your greens or whatever, because you can make it so glitches aren't required in logic.
right.
A lot of more advanced players who like speed run these games all the time or do several randos, they know like ridiculous glitches to get anything they need. Like there's someone I watch, ZFG on
That's an old name.
he I like watching him do not a link to the past, but Ocarina of Time randos because he does no logic, which basically means all the like that thing I talked about, which was like spheres of logic and like things you can check, it just goes out the window and now just throws everything wherever it wants to. It does you could wind up with an unbeatable seed because like, oh, to get an item you absolutely need even with glitches, like say you need a hook shot for a check even with glitches. If your hook shot is locked behind that, you have an unbeatable seed because you can't get the thing you need to get the thing you need to get the thing you need to get the you see where I'm going with this.
Ad nauseum.
Yes. And the thing about the reason he does no logic is because he knows so many hilarious glitches to get wherever he needs to that the chance of an unbeatable seed is so low because he has all this experience with goofy ass glitches. It's really cool to watch him do it. I've been watching a couple Archipelago runs. Like there were a couple done on the GDQ hotfix shows, showing off the Archipelago. Like, oh, we're doing 6 games. Like 5 people are playing 6 games because one person decided I'm going to play both Donkey Kong Country 3 and Doom, the original Doom, 1993.
Classic.
Yeah, which by the way, that also has randomizer and it's really funny.
I'm looking forward to just more people seeing like what tools they have to make these and then making more. I would love to experiment around with this sometime if I had the time. I can't promise anything. I did talk to you about one, but like I'm not really gonna tell the show that just yet.
Let's not talk about our theory crafting of what an incremental game is, because that's a mess.
Oh no, you could just make those though. Chuck them out like Roblox developers do, or potentially Fortnite developers if they open that SDK up to the public. Whatever they're doing with the Lego and the racing and the metaverse.
The everything. Yeah. Fortnite is trying to become the next Roblox, it feels like.
They're definitely trying.
This episode does not have a sponsor. We just want to bring people in to kind of take a look at the show, see what we have going on. If they like us, support us. Go to coffee.com/mask31 and check out our page, and feel free to consider donating.
So that's my deep breath.
Okay, that was your deep breath?
Yeah, sure. This is my cough. Go on.
Fuck. We're already hating each other. We're halfway. Do you want to talk about the Game Awards?
The Sham Awards?
The game trailer show featuring some awards.
And a lot of I retweeted a bunch of stuff that was
and we watched it together.
Talking about it. Yeah, we watched it together, and I feel like the whole time I was watching it, I had like a bunch of conflicting thoughts all at the same time that would rear their heads over and over again at different points.
Right.
But I had a running joke, which is just every time I saw Nexon or talking about indies, I'd be like, Dave the Diver is my favorite indie game.
Nexon was in the show with 8 different games or something. I exaggerate. It was more like 3 or 4, but
a lot of them. I think a lot of them were more or less just like trailers.
Yeah, but they still had the company behind them, and Dave the Diver was a game in the indie category, which no. Wrong.
No, it's not. They even point out that it's not an indie. They're like, this isn't an indie game. Don't call it that. What? What do you mean? They are even the devs of Dave the Diver are like, this is not an indie game. Don't call it that. But because it's got the pixel graphics and neat gameplay, in a neat combination of like
In a quirky
genres.
style and presentation.
It's the genre, the mashup of genres too. Because it's like I've seen people play it because Nexon had a massive marketing campaign for it where they just got a bunch of streamers to play it. And what I saw, I was like, yeah, this is pretty dope, honestly. The gameplay style is like you go into
cool.
like this like little roguelite underwater thing. You get fish, you get materials to like make for later dives even easier, but also you're like making sushi for the restaurant and making money that way to also fund your dives. It's a whole mix of gameplay loops, and I can see why why they decide, oh, that's indie, even if it's dumb as shit. I can see exactly where they were going with it.
Right. I, for one, actually really enjoyed the fact that they had a good Metroidvania presence there. For a lot of the trailers for games.
Oh yeah,
They have an upcoming
even...
Prince of Persia game, which I'm very excited for and probably going to play, as a very nice independently developed game where the creator gave a shout out to Golden Sun. Please bring the franchise back, Nintendo, for the love of God.
Come on, Reggie, give us Golden Sun.
Yes.
Yeah, but our running joke, my running joke specifically, was always just like anytime I saw indie or Nexon, I would make a joke about how Dave the Diver is not a fucking indie game. Don't put it in the indie category. And thank God it didn't win the indie category it was in. Like,
right.
If it had won, the Game Awards would have been completely bullshit. And they're already completely bullshit, so somehow they would have doubled up on it.
I am glad that some games got their time to shine. I'm glad that Street Fighter 6 got some awards for Best Fighting Game, because that makes sense. I'm glad that Hi-Fi Rush got its little time to shine with its category.
It won the sound design or whatever.
I believe
which makes sense, because that game is literally designed around. It's literally designed around it. Like if it had lost, I'd been like, "What the fuck do you mean?" But
God, I love Tango Gameworks stuff. I'd love a Ghostwire Tokyo too. Yeah. Just a fantastic little romp through a lot of supernatural nonsense, and the mobility is great. So definitely recommend both.
So like I had several thoughts constantly coming in and out of my consciousness as we watched. So I'm thinking like the awards are garbage and don't mean much because like they put Dave the Diver in the indie category. But also there was like other stuff that's like, oh, I want to see the game I like win anyways. Every time Hi-Fi Rush popped up, we both of you and I would start chanting
to it. Yeah,
Hi-Fi Rush, Hi-Fi Rush, taking it seriously just for a short period of time before remembering like, yeah, this is all a fucking sham, isn't it? And then like
I mean the award stuff you can probably define in 4 words that people on Twitter have picked up. Please wrap it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Please wrap it up because you're not allowed to have a long. You're not allowed to have a long speech. Just a celebration of video games by virtue of being E3 2 and telling devs to fuck off and get off our stage.
They've been there longer than anybody else though, so they get to run it. Thanks, Geoff.
Yeah, and like there was another part of it that was like whenever like there were indie games that were winning that I've literally never heard of, which is like I don't know if that's because I don't play enough games, but it's also just like
it's dependent on the audience. Like there are things that people will watch the Game Awards just to see. Like people will just watch it for indies. People will just watch it for like the esports categories and winners there. People will watch it for like the VTubers like Iron Mouse who did a great job winning that award. Yeah, some people were just watching for that, and but I'm not too aware of the VTuber universe, but it is really cool to see awesome creators doing awesome things.
I think she's the largest Ian VTuber on Twitch. But like when it came to the indies I'd never heard of, it was like an immediate like, what the fuck is this? And then I went to Google it, and it's like, neat. I am wholly uninterested, but neat.
I think that the Game Awards just kind of like puts these things in front of people to have that kind of reaction.
Yeah, and like the trailers are nice, even if it's like supposed to be about the awards.
I know. You can't get away from the trailers, but like the fact that like Sega brought the best one. Can we talk about that, please? We were both in absolute shock that Jet Set Radio is coming back.
Just seeing 5 Sega franchises rising from their graves.
The Altered Beast.
There was no Altered Beast.
But there was this
Unfortunately.
reaction. We're gonna play the reaction clip. Bling bling, Sega.
Some Sonic shit happening. What's going on?
Oh, that was a Golden
this is
Axe
good.
reference. That
This
Viking
is
hat.
going to be a whole lot of Sega games. I saw some Streets
Yep.
of Rage.
Yep.
Shinobi.
Oh
my god!
Oh shit!
What the hell?
Oh my god, it's so beautiful. All three of these.
Fucking opening up with the Jet Set Radio. Oh my god!
Fuck yeah!
Oh my god!
Crazy Taxi HD!
What the hell do you mean?
Oh my god!
Just a
Oh wow!
oh my! And they have
yeah.
fucking good god!
Ooh.
We're bringing back the dead.
Sega!
Why from your grave, motherfucker?
I got that all recorded too. Fuck yeah!
Oh yeah, fucking.
And that's both of us like having like collective just nerdtopia. I don't want to call it nerdgasm because that would make our show like adult rated. So what are we gonna call it?
But I'm already swearing like a sailor. What are you talking about?
It's mature rated, okay? It's rated M for Super Macho Man.
You're not allowed to say. We'll get slapped with the triple X rating.
I will censor that with bleeps.
Fuck you.
It'll be funny.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
I suppose it would be. Oh god, but that whole Sega trailer was neat because like I saw it. What I caught on to was when I saw the gloves. I was like, that's. I was trying to think of the beat 'em up. And it's like that's. I was gonna say Final Fight, but it's not. That's Nintendo or no, that's Capcom. I'm full of shit. Damn it. Final Fight it was Streets of Rage because it's Axel's. It was Axel's get up.
Yeah, they've been trying to revive Streets of Rage successfully for a few years. I mean, they tried during the next-gen era of the PS360 of putting a 3D game out there, but it never really took off.
Yeah, and we did play, and we both have played Streets of Rage 4, which was pretty okay,
actually.
That's
like one of the first games we played together. Like,
what,
2 years ago?
It was pretty dope. I remember when they sent the patch. I remember when they put the patch in that reduced the knife guy's hitbox because it was such a pain in the ass to get around.
Yep.
I was like, hell yeah! I hated that asshole.
Streets of Rage 4 just like is a great game. Was it Lizard Cube? I feel like it was Lizard Cube.
I don't know. I loved that. Like as you got score milestones, like as you played, your score would basically become experience points that unlocked new characters. And the new characters were just like classic versions of like you could play as if you play like as the super simplified like Streets of Rage 1 Axel, he has no moves, but his normals just deal shit tons of damage.
Yep, it's nice that they put the pixelated style in too. It was Lizard Cube, so like you have like a team of devs who are just pros at like 2D to 3D styles of games. There's rumors that Shinobi game that we saw is being done by them too. But yeah, like all of the Sega IPs coming back, Crazy Taxi and everything, I hope they come out in a timely manner. We'll have to see. That was one of the best trailers during the show, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Probably second to one of my personal picks, which would be Visions of Mana, which is the Square game that's coming out. Yeah.
I remember watching it like back when we were watching. I was like trying to. The thing I have the hardest issue with is placing the name first. And it's like, I know what this game is, I just can't place it. And I was like, as I was seeing, like I saw the main characters, like, this is a Mana game. If only I could remember that it's the name Mana.
It took me a little while, but I figured out that it wasn't, in fact, that Chrono Trigger game that they've been rumoring that Square's been working on in, like, 3D in the style of Dragon Quest IX.
Right.
Like, they've been working on, like, that sort of engine for a while, and like putting games out there on Game Pass like Dragon Quest IX to get people kind of excited to play more of that. The art style that they applied to this is iconically just matches up to what Secret of Mana is, like the whole series, in fact.
I love that they're bringing back the bosses from Secret of Mana, where it's like, oh look, it's the fucking Mantis asshole from the first boss.
Yeah. It has the style that they went with the Toriyama-style characters, like, down to a T. I think this is just, like, one of the final hurdles that we're going to see before we see that Chrono Trigger remake. I think this is the last one.
My favorite Chrono Trigger characters are Goku and Bulma. Oh, sorry, I mean Chrono and Isla.
What about Frog?
Frog he's a frog. He's my
He's got
joke.
his own
Well,
arc. Come on, he's so heroic.
I know it. My joke
Glenn's
is
my
that
favorite.
Frog doesn't look like a Dragon Ball character because there's no Dragon Ball character that's just a frog. Actually, no, there's Ginyu. Fuck.
Fuck you.
Ginyu ends up as a frog. I forgot about that one.
Tonto Sentai, Tonto Sentai, Tonto Sentai.
Yeah, my whole joke was just that there is no character in Dragon Ball that looks like Frog. But like Isla and Chrono, they look like it's like the fucking giant forehead. Just a lot of brains in there, I guess. I mean, Bulma's got the brains. She's fucking ridiculous.
And the cash.
Yeah, she does. She is Batman.
Yeah, I guess we could mention Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I mean, like, it's cool that they're going back to Budokai. I would really like another fighters because that's just what I'm used to. But oh well.
Yeah. And then it was 3 frames of Wolfman.
Oh yeah, and that from one of the universe tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always. I do hope more. I think my favorite part about like these sorts of like expanded like other media is like, oh, you can take advantage of like all this expanded shit and make it into something.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like something that Star Wars got really popular with their expanded universe shit. And rest in peace, Jizz. Disney has killed Jizz from Star Wars.
Goodbye, Jizz.
Do you know what that is?
Kind of. No,
the music that was playing in the Mos Eisley canteen. It was called Jizz. It has been nuked from canon by the mouse himself.
Just like the Clone Wars animation by Tartakovsky.
Just like every other expanded universe thing that they did.
Indeed.
Like, fucking A.
Anyway, we're on a tangent. What do you want to bring it back to one of your surprise hits from the show? One of your trailer favorites.
What was what? I forgot. You're gonna have
Pony
to hit
Island
me with
2.
it. Well, yeah. Well, that's just because the whole surprise there was more like you were like trying to place what it looked like, and I was like, I know what you're talking about. It's like Pony Island, I think. And then like after it's a second after I said that, it says Pony Island 2, and I was like, all right. It's not a game I've ever played. I'm aware of it and I've read up on it.
I've watched people play it the whole way through. It's like this whole kind of trip between like messing with like someone else's code and just freeing a bunch of lost souls from a machine. It's an experience. You have to see it kind of for yourself.
It's also got a lot of that meta commentary for the story where it's like, oh, this game you're playing, it's actually a way to free the souls of the damned and all that, or like how in Super Hot it ends with spoilers for Super Hot, I guess. It ends with like, oh, Super Hot's actually like this computer mechanism or whatever, which like lets you take control of someone and shoot real people. And it's like all right,
dark.
I guess it's the kind of thing that like I find kind of cliche now, and I kind of roll my eyes whenever it happens. Like Undertale also did that, which was good for it. But as it gets like more popular and more people use it, it starts to feel a little bit more cliched.
It's how the culture evolves. What's old is new and becomes old as we go.
What's old is new. If only we aged like that.
Also, shoutouts to Pro ZD being in Pony Island 2, apparently. They're getting him to do the casting for one of the characters.
Yeah, I think I saw who he'd be playing.
Yeah.
Like the weird emperor looking guy.
Yeah, he just has he had the best dumb funny videos like earlier and mid Twitter, and now we're in late Twitter, which is not as cool.
Shoutouts to Lysanderoff. Remember that joke from his?
Who?
So based on the fact that the character, like the joke he made was with a character called Lysanderoff. He's very clearly talking about the villain of Pokemon X and Y.
Oh yeah.
Lysander.
I can get that much, yeah.
And it's like, and I understand exactly what he's making fun of because I remember, like the first time you run into Lysander in Pokemon XY, he's like doing this weird speech about beauty and how it needs to be like it has to be maintained or whatever. It just like the moment you hear him talk, you're just like,
it's coming back to me now, yeah.
you sound like the villain. Everything you're saying, the way you're saying it, it's like it's very obvious you're the villain. And surprise, he's the villain, and everyone in the game is just like, I can't believe it. And the player, and like I was like, especially me, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Did you not hear how he was talking? He sounded like he was a eugenicist. He sounded like he was going to kill the ugly people or something, man. What are you doing? What do you mean you didn't see this coming? Fuck you. I'm not that stupid. Fuck this game for kids. I'm an adult. Now, excuse me, like shiny hunt all my favorite Pokemon because I'm a loser.
I liked when Lysander spiked his VR headset into the ground. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, when you kick his ass for the last
Yeah.
time, he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, you stupid lion-maned bitch. Get better Pokemon. Learn the power of love, ho.
That's the power of love. We got one more thing to talk about here.
Oh yeah?
Kojima.
Oh yeah, OD.
OD, which is totally not PT, and totally not going to take all the ideas from Silent Hill. Totally. They totally didn't get Jordan Peele, who's a horror expert at this point, to actually do stuff. On top of being Comedy Central's one of the most notable comedian of the 2000s. God, I love Key and Peele. But God, he has become such a great director these days. I love the hell out of Nope. Also, he's really into like nerd culture, kind of like Samuel L. Jackson is. Just like straight up putting in a Kira reference at the end of Nope.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I do, just to talk about the trailers, because remembering the OD trailer and how just horribly uncomfortable it was.
Oh yeah, the game itself
like-
looks freaky.
Yeah, like the whole point is that it's uncomforting, but it was like, man, I didn't really sign up for this, did I? I didn't really sign up for just any old ad to get thrown in my face and make me feel bad.
Right.
It's like right in the pre-show, one of the earliest fucking ads or trailers shown is for a new game by the Dead Cells devs, which is like called Windblown. But you can easily just like reverse the W and make it Mind Blown because it's a game about, I guess, furry anthro kids getting murked and watching their literal brain matter get animated exploding. And it was like exceedingly uncomforting.
It's
I was
kind
like,
of unsettling how many horror games there are at the Game Awards now, trailer-wise.
Yeah,
it's
like
a little bit weird.
It's like I assume it's just like just seeing it happen and being like, you can't just show this to me with no warning. This is fucked up. It's really weird and gross to see it without any possible warning. Like there's one warning that's like, none of this has been rated.
Do you know what movies actually
risk.
have? Do you know what movies have before you get to see trailers in the theaters?
A rating.
A rating, yeah. I mean, games might just be heading towards that. It might be essential to put that sort of rating warning like in front of people.
Because what they had instead is like at the start of the pre-show, they were like, none of the trailers have been rated, and it's like, so apparently that just means anything goes. You might just get a face full of gore for 2 minutes at a time for no reason,
right?
No warning. Suck it up, dumbass.
Not even like a rated E for everyone, rated T for teen, rated M for mature. Do you think like the ESRB even cares that there was nothing? Yeah, I think that they should take up issues with this. Do you think that the ESRB would have a little more involvement with the Game Awards? But it really wasn't a thing.
I think this is also why the Game Awards are partially a sham, because like anyone who gives a shit about like this sort of thing to look professional would know that like just throwing gore with no warning is a really fucking bad move in most cases.
Right, in most mediums too.
It's like that game, to be honest, that game looked cool, Windblown, but god damn, I still felt like I was going to throw up a little bit.
There are some moments there that made me uncomfortable too. With the there's this like horror game with like this creature with like fingers in its mouth and things, and it's just like, ew. I would rather have not seen that.
Yeah, there was also like the mental asylum survival horror game.
That would be
that was fucked up.
Very unsettling.
Fucked up, no warning, and you get to hear a lot of streamers lose their minds during it because a lot of their to go off of the fact that it's kind of to show how unprofessional the Game Awards is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There needs to be some oversight there.
Figure it out. That's gross. I don't want to see that with no warning.
Especially with the 10th anniversary coming up. Geoff, please get your shit together. It's been years. We are all older, wiser, more mature. The industry is older, wiser, more mature. Please, just get the
Clearly.
horror stuff managed. Get the show to be more about the awards. And, yeah, I still enjoyed it, all things considered. But, like, geez.
Oh yeah, it was definitely still, you know, kind of fun to watch, even if all the background of all the strikes happening and all the developers getting shafted by the companies happened, which was all over, which is a lot of people talking about on Twitter, which I retweeted a lot of, because it's like, yeah, look at all these game awards and we're not letting any of these people talk.
Right.
It's just a mess. Yeah, it's just a mess right now.
Bless this mess. Hashtag bless
God,
this mess.
God bless this mess. Actually, no, because it's the companies being a piece of shit.
God can't help you
Ugh.
now.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We are hosted on mask31.dev/the-Reddmasq-podcast. You can also find us on Pocket Casts and wherever great podcasts are found.